Who wants to begin?
Nose goes.
Yes.
I've got my hand in my nose.
I'm touching my nose.
It.
All right, we'll do rock, paper, scissors instead. How about that?
All right.
1, 2,
rock,
3, go.
paper, scissors.
I got scissors. What do you have?
I also have scissors.
I thought you just be like, I have rock. Fine, I'll do it.
It's like I have rock. Wait, what's the flat thing again?
Yeah, that's rock.
Alex's butt.
His butt is flat. Ooh.
I have... Yeah, my butt's kind of flat. I have no butt.
This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game. Hello and welcome to the Player 4 Podcast. I am your host, Tristan, a.k.a. Shagrazir on the Rooster Teeth website.
I'm Alex, a.k.a. Chaos Black 21.
I'm Joseph, a.k.a. J Dunlap, and Alex has a flat butt.
Flat-butted Alex.
I was laughing because, Tristan, were you about to say Shagrazir instead of Tristan?
No.
Okay.
Tristan.
Yeah, because it sounded like you started and then you immediately went to the T.
I went for like the Tristan. It's just kind of a CH sound, but I just like hung on it as I was like, that's what I'm supposed to say, right? Yeah. And then I went through with it. I like stopped mid-noise. Went, am I doing it right? Yeah, I'm doing it right. Okay. I'm noticing the pattern is there is nothing not funny about introducing themselves to Alex. He will always laugh during the introductions because something is funny.
Yeah, pretty much.
Are we going to get the hyena picture?
Well, I mean,
I didn't laugh that much.
I think if we really get him, then yeah, but I don't know that one was worthy yet. So we actually put together like a docket.
So, Tristan.
What? Hi.
Oh, yeah. So I have a lot of delay because my internet's bad, just so everyone understands. But so, Tristan, what's so special about this episode?
This episode is special because we're going to be talking about RTX, which just happened last weekend in Austin, Texas, with all of us, except for Malachi, who's not here anyway.
Yay!
Yay! Bye, Malachi. He's off doing stuff, yeah. He's probably watching anime or dealing with the car or both or neither. I don't know.
Just think, next time we can have a Malachi's Meanderings.
Malachi's Meanderings. Wow.
Just good job. We timed that perfectly.
I know. I actually did time that a few seconds early.
Goodness gracious. So, we did put together kind of a docket for today's talk so that we can hit things in a bit of an order, or try to. So we're going to start with our RTX experience, as one of us was an attendee, Spectre Media, and the other two were two different types of Guardian. Malachi's not here, so Ghost Malachi can talk about his experience as a non-attendee. Then we're going to talk about SideQuest and the stuff that happened at SideQuest and how that interacted and interlapped with RTX. I know that a couple of you guys got to see the exhibit floor. I wandered through once or twice and didn't see much because I'm too busy. There were new security measures this year that I think we should touch upon and ponder about how that'll be going forward, how it worked out today, this year versus last. Then we wanted to hit up some of our favorites, our favorite panels for those of us that could attend any, and favorite moments of the weekend. And finally, how the weekend wrapped up. We'll wrap up on how the barbecue at the end of the weekend went. How does that sound, guys?
Woo! Sounds like a lot.
It does sound like a lot, but we're going to try and squeeze it into 20 minutes. So we've got...
Oh, dear God.
15 minutes. We got this.
Press F to pay respects.
Press F to pay respects. All right. So let's start with the attendee Spectre Media experience. Joseph, why don't you give us a quick rundown on what you saw and how you felt about RTX this year as compared with other years?
Hold on, I'm thinking. Okay, so I wasn't a normal attendee, so I didn't get to experience it from the normal rank and file experience that I'm used to, but I can say it was overall pretty well run. Things that we're going to touch on later on in the episode, I'm going to go ahead and say were pretty good. As far as the experience of being media, it was just like being a normal attendee, sort of the platinum experience, if you will. But you also got access to about 3 roundtables for media every day. I think somewhere 2 to 3. So on Friday, Matt Van de Zand from Big Bite, we went to a roundtable for Camp. And just asked questions in a circle. We went around to the different people that were there. Then the next day, we didn't go to any because it was Achievement Hunter and Funhouse, and we knew that would just be cringe because of the questions that people would ask.
Oh, dear.
Pretty sure Matt did go to Ruby on Friday, and then Sunday was Genlock, No Better of Nowhere, and Founding Fathers. And every time we asked a question, it was usually in a completely different league from all the other ones, which was, I noticed your character's a silent protagonist. Did that make it difficult to write No Matter of Nowhere? Or why did you choose to have a silent protagonist? Or if you have a silent protagonist, we're like, what about the art style? I really like the art style. What were the influences?
So you guys had to change it up for the round table.
Well, I mean, when we did Camp, we talked about storytelling elements. For us, it was like, why did you choose adolescent characters as a vehicle for your messages you were trying to convey of friendship, family, and political topics? Or with No Better of Nowhere, I was saying, you intend for this to be a Western, but we see influences of Incan, Aztec, and Egyptian architecture and some Greco-Roman elements. So does this mean the world wasn't always Western?
Yes.
So I got some raised eyebrows. You noticed. And then they were like, we're not going to spoil anything, but yes.
Yes.
So it was a great experience. Then as a Spectre, I guess I'll talk about SideQuest later, but being a Spectre was, as always, fun. On my side of things, it was a little bit slower than usual. I didn't see near as many people that I know because they're all coming up with their own routines for the evenings now. I know anyone that's a Guardian like you guys is like, I'm tired. I don't want to go again and again every year when I could rest instead. But there were other people like, I'm pretty sure like the Dungeon Drunks that didn't really hit up the events because they wanted to play D&D every night. And there's some other people I didn't see, but still overall fun. And on the SideQuest side of things, successful.
That's good.
But that's it without touching on the other topics.
No, I like that because I was curious because being one of the Guardians that was just like, I can't. I don't have the energy to go out. I'm done at like 9 p.m. and I need to be up again at 8 a.m. and I just want to see the people I can see, talk to them, do something not using my feet to hang out. I was curious what other people attending were doing.
His tough time with his later call times than I had.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was just going to say I did notice a lower density of Guardians, but Ficus did make an appearance on the last night.
It might be a lower density of Guardians because we didn't have that many more Guardians than the previous year. Like, I know there were a bunch of people who didn't end up showing up, so we had fewer Guardians there than were accepted, but even if you went with the maximum acceptance, like percentage-wise, it wasn't as much higher than previous years as years before those had been. We had more attendees, but not as big an increase in Guardians by ratio.
Oh, I was actually meeting density of Guardians attending SideQuest.
Oh.
But I did notice the change in a lot of the Guardian leadership didn't come back, and I think that's just an attrition thing, really. Like, it's been many years, lots of years, and not everyone wants to be a Guardian every year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. This is a true statement.
Yeah, a lot of the veterans hung up their Guardian hats because they've been doing it for 4, 5, 6, or more years that they're like, okay, I've done my time. Now I have I have a family now, so I want to spend more time with them, or I want to actually see what it's like as an attendee again, or they're just done.
Or some of them got moved up to staff.
That's true. Yes, or that.
I was going to say, we should talk about the person who got moved up to staff.
Who got moved up to staff, Joseph?
I don't know, someone on Twitter called Geeky Fried Rice.
You mean Jackie?
Yes.
She's a cool person.
She is a cool person.
She is. She actually came to my panel and was like, it was a good job. You guys had good chemistry. And unlike the other one I went to, I didn't fall asleep.
Yay! Joseph stayed away.
No, she was the one who didn't fall asleep.
Oh, hey, Jackie didn't fall asleep.
And then another one was Jen Lozelda, who is working on Genlock. So she was not a Guardian this year.
Is that just
as
a
well.
coincidence that it's Jen and she's working on Genlock?
I think it's a coincidence.
Oh.
Considering they're spelled differently.
Well, that's quite a
Misspelled
coincidence, Alex. I didn't know that she was working on Genlock. What's that all about?
She's not a full-time Rooster Teeth staff member. I think right now she's just like contractually based. And she's been kind of working here and there and other stuff. Like she was part of like the broadcast group that was doing like on the spot and other like live action stuff.
So she's Austin based.
Yes, she moved to Austin maybe a little. I don't know if it's been a year or not. It's close to a year, I believe. Few people aren't Guardians because they are working on stuff or got hired. Some people have families, like just a middleman, Desagen, and then other people just wanted to experience RTX just normal. They wanted to take a break. Tristan,
Yo.
your Guardian experience.
My Guardian experience was a little different from previous years in that a weather thing caused me to have to move my flight up by a day. So first difference was I didn't get to meet up with Alex at the airport and ride in with him. That was sad.
Yeah, so I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what bus to take anymore.
Well, I mean, you and me both, because they changed the bus. You had to take the 20 instead of the 100, and then get yourself dropped off at Lavaca Street, and then walk 4 blocks to get over there. So that was weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
I just stopped the bus at Lavaca and 4th and walked my butt over there. So I had to, luckily, I wrote into the tech team chat that, hey, I'm going to have to get there a day early, and my room rental starts the next day. And one of them just like, you can crash at my place. I've got a pull out. I'm like, cool. I'll crash there. And they were at the Hyatt place, and I remarked to them, oh, this is funny because the first time I ever came to RTX as an attendee, I stayed at the Hyatt place in Austin downtown, which is right across the street, basically.
Yeah, that was the only time that we stayed in a hotel, right, Tristan?
Yeah, well, because Noah and I had stayed there the 2 times as a attendee.
Oh, yeah. You had one more year because you weren't with us with our housing group the first year that we did it.
Yeah.
So you had 2 years. I only had 1 year.
Yeah, I had 2 years, and then I became Noah and I got guardianship. I was a tech, and he was a response, and that's when we joined the housing group.
You should be glad you waited a year because that first year we had an actual house that was a bit a ways away, and it sucked.
No,
it sucked walking to the convention center.
Oh man. Yeah, I think what we've got going now with the rail yard is really good. After that, so different from previous years because I actually got to be there for first call on Wednesday, and tech team, unlike a lot of other teams, has a lot to do on before the show starts. So usually I'm there, noon, 1, 2 p.m. on Wednesday. This time I was able to actually get in there at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. And start doing stuff. And it was a nice experience because everything just sort of fell together. It was like the perfect storm of everything working out, where we were able to get into the convention center early. The shipments had gone out early and arrived on time. We didn't have to deal with any other shows clearing out of the way. A lot of the stuff, like building of center stage, all the rigging and everything had started like a couple days earlier, Monday or Tuesday, and so it was almost done. So we could just immediately start building up tech on center stage. So like everything was just sort of working out, and we had such a large tech team this year that, I'd go and I'd do a job and I'd turn around being like, what's next? And I'd go down the checklist and like 5 other things had already been finished. I'd have to go, actually try to find work to do because stuff was just getting done so efficiently. And part of the need for that was that we had Let's Play Live this year. So I was off preparing the panel rooms, and the other half of the team was doing center stage for Let's Play Live prep, and so then they just cut everybody who wasn't already working on center stage. So I didn't get to see Let's Play Live. I wasn't working on Let's Play Live, but it was that was interesting. After that, the experience was a lot like previous years, where I basically chose a panel room and babysat the stream in there all weekend, turning on and off the stream and making sure that we had good audio video quality, and getting things set up with each individual panel, getting the panelists multimedia that they want to display set up. And the nice thing was that I hooked up with my Panel Guardians team from last year. They'd gotten moved to room 16, and we were always room 6 together. So I'm like, well, you guys should come back to room 6. And they wouldn't. So I'm like, fine, I'll go to room 16. Which was funny because that was another like throwback to my first time as a Guardian, where first year I had Mega 64 in the room. And so then again this year they put him in 16 again. So I had Mega 64 again, and they remembered that first year when we threw up the video and it was playing at half speed, and they didn't know why, because one of them had hit a button without realizing it. And I had to fix it for them, but in that first year I was still like nervous and not sure like what was overstepping my duties or what was supposed to be included in my duties. And so like I let half the video play at half speed before going, no, I gotta fix this. And since learned that I should always just go and fix it immediately.
You guys screwed it up.
Yeah.
Let me fix it.
Yeah, I mean, and so, this year, it was interesting getting to kind of see that change in how I handled my duties, is that I understand better what I can do to help and when I should step in. And whereas in my first year, I'm like, I don't know if I should be stepping in since they're doing their thing. Should I be up on the panel stage after it's begun? Now I know. No, your duty is to make sure that the panel runs smoothly. If you have to get up on the panel stage to do that, you just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty much that, without touching on anything else. My experience, what was different and what was the same. Alex, you had a big change. Alex, what did you do this year?
I had a big change. So the first 3 years I did line and response. Basically, response was the same thing as lines the third year. But this year I was a PA Guardian, and I was trusted with keeping Josh Flanagan alive for the weekend. So that was all new. It was much different because in my other times I was pretty much stationed in places and then every now and then get stationed in a new place. But now I had to actually go to all over the convention. So I had to basically get his schedule, memorize it, and kind of give my best judgment of how long it would take through the crowds to get to the places. And so it was awesome hitting up signatures, going to a panel, going across to another building to get to a different panel, going to the booths that were in the expo hall, and they had Josh tape some things here and there for the sponsors that were of those booths that were sponsoring RTX. He's really cool to work with, really chill. I actually escorted his mom around too for a good chunk of the convention with us, and she's awesome. I call her Mama Flanagan.
You're interacting with his mother?
Yes.
That's really funny.
Yep. And she was really nice. It was an awesome experience, and I hope to do it again next year. Who knows, perhaps with Josh again.
I'm glad to hear that, because you were really stressing about it at the beginning, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go for you since you weren't getting good communication at the beginning.
Yeah, we're supposed to wait to get communication, and we didn't. So then I had to personally connect with him. But after that, it was cool. We got along great together. Hopefully next year, I'll get to do it.
I have a really important question.
Okay.
All those...
Redacted! No, no.
I kept imagining he was just going to show up like this for you.
It was all just joking around. Just kind of like how when we first started, where I was like, hey, I'm Alex Jones, and just immediately went into texting about the other Alex Jones that everyone hates, the conspiracy theorist guy that's gone off the deep end, that now everything's censoring.
Yeah, except Twitter, because, Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
All right, so we went a bit over time, so we're just going to quickly do a recap of the other things, and I want to make sure that I stop here and say, thank you to Matt317, one of our sponsors, who threw together a list of things he would like to hear about, so we were able to pull some of that together. So we talked about our experience. We were able to touch a little bit on side quests, thanks to Joseph, so we know that side quest was a good time.
Yes, we raised $15,000 for charity, and they did the first ever live auction that was incredibly successful.
Boom.
Yes, it was. That was fun.
And you had a good time being a Spectre. You got yourself nice and
redacted.
I'm going to redact that.
No. Okay. Exhibit floor. Good stuff on the exhibit floor. Did you feel like there were panel booths that were outside of RTX enough? Like they had some representation.
There were some demos of some games, and that was cool. There's plenty to do. I was a little bit confused by the overall layout of the floor compared to other cons I've been to in that very building, but still no complaints.
And how did everybody feel about security measures? They didn't bother me too much. Alex?
It only bothered me because I had a fanny pack and a drawstring backpack and water, so that I was carrying for myself and Josh. So it was a bit of a hassle in that sense because I had to take off both bags, open both of them, take out the water, and then try to get through, and then put everything back on as I'm trying to keep with Josh and trying to get to where we're supposed to go. But otherwise, it seemed to be pretty quick. I think the metal detectors worked very well with the amount that they had and keeping everyone knowledgeable about them beforehand, unlike last year with the Expo Hall metal detectors.
Yeah. Joseph, what did you think as an attendee?
The security was such a great idea to have it right there at the side door of of various places, I believe, according to the map that I got for being media along the ACC. And it was never a long line, at least when I went, usually in the early afternoon.
All right. Very quickly, did you have a favorite panel that you saw? One favorite panel, Alex?
The RT embarrassing first videos. It was awesome seeing all the different people of Rooster Teeth and Funhouse and all them show these crappy movies that they made that are still better than what I would ever make.
All right. Joseph?
I went to one panel, the one I was in.
How'd that go?
Apparently very good. I think a lot of people got something out of it. In fact, one guy asked Matt V and me whether we could meet with him at a later time and just talk about getting into content creation and getting into his local community. So it was already having effects on people.
All right. That's awesome. I think for me, one of my favorites was a concept artist who came in to talk about how you get into the profession of concept art and the freelance. It's mostly a freelance gig. What you can do to pad your portfolio and get your name out there and how you can find jobs and stuff. And it was a really cool thing because he had a lot of great insight. He had a lot of great experience. He was a very talented artist and he was the only one on the panel. So I thought it was pretty brave watching him get up there and do this. And he had a decent sized crowd, all things considered. I didn't know who he was before this panel, but it was, I thought he did a really good job. He had everything laid out, nice PowerPoint and a script that he stuck to, and some great art to show and some very good insight.
And he didn't make anything go to half speed.
No, thankfully. Then favorite moment overall, Alex.
Oh, why'd you have to start with me?
Because I'm going in a little circle here. Everything goes to the left of the DM. Come on.
Enough friggin' trying. I would just say it's always going to be the time spent with our housing group, our condo group, just because I think we mesh so well together. And Wednesday is probably just the best night that we have because RTX hasn't started yet and we all get to hang out and play games together and just laugh.
Also have Russian food at a Russian place with Russian-speaking guys.
Yeah, and vodka.
And vodka, yeah. Complimentary vodka shot, which was great. Joseph, what was your favorite moment?
Really just anything I got to do with the folks from the condo. So probably like Wednesday at the condo or Saturday at SideQuest. Oh, I didn't talk about that. So basically Saturday at SideQuest was, I didn't know very many people that were there. So they put me at the name tags. The name tags, have colors on them. Pick it up, put your name on it, earn the points for your team. And I was just there the full 4 hours, and I was making friends the whole time.
Nice.
We know you were making friends. We saw it on the group chat.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that.
Redacted.
Redact.
Redact.
I think for me, one of my favorite moments was I'd not met Matt from Big Bite before, who was one of our roommates, and I was glad that we, I go, sometimes I make friends really quickly with people, and other times it takes me a while to really get a friendship going with somebody. And so Matt was one of those people. I came in, I didn't know who he was, I didn't know where we stood, we didn't seem to be connecting on a lot of things, and I wasn't sure it was going to go okay. And then all of a sudden he's like, I need to do research for this roundtable we have so I can ask educated questions. So I'm like, well, let's sit down. He's like, I have to watch these shows. I'm like, I just want to sit on my butt and not do anything after working all day. I'll watch these shows with you and we can talk about them. And so it was really actually pretty fun to sit down and watch Nomad of Nowhere and Ruby Season 5 with him and just sort of talk about what we liked about it, what we thought it was trying to do, where we thought it did it well, where we thought it did poorly, and what we thought maybe could have been done to make it better or get it to its goal better. And that was just a really kind of fun, insightful kind of review session, and I had a lot of fun with that. And he was a cool guy, so I liked that. I also liked at the end when we were packing up and Joseph's kids were running an absolute muck. So Gina and I kind of got them up into the upstairs that had already been taken care of, and that was a lot of just picking up and tossing children onto beds over and over until they tired out, which I will say right now, they did not actually tire out. I did, though.
That's because they stole your energy.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how are they still going? How are they twice as loud as they were before? Children. And so finally...
we have
Yes, thank you, Alex. The barbecue. So we went to Rudy's. We got almost everybody from the room, except Chris. This is me giving him a significant look, saying, next time. But we got pretty much everybody else. Plus, we met up with Escalante and...
Fried Rice.
Geeky Fried Rice and Dr. Harris and a bunch of other people from RTX, Guardians mostly. And we all had barbecue mostly together, except we had a stubborn group who was sitting outside and a stubborn group that was sitting in the air conditioning, and neither one wanted to cross the threshold. So we had 2 separate tables until everyone was done eating, and then we all got together after for hangout and pictures. And Rudy's was really, really good barbecue. Go there and get Rudy's.
It was good, and it's much closer than Salt Lake.
Yeah, it's on North Lamar, and it's like 2 miles away or 3.
There's really multiple places. North Lamar is just one of them.
We went to the one on North Lamar, and that was really cool. Okay, so everybody ready to get the flip out of here?
Yeah, we got through it.
Woo!
Where's Malachi?
He got chirp, 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 chirp. He got the flip out of here like 3 hours ago. We totally didn't go 20 minutes over the time Joseph wanted us to go. Totally.
No, it was 10. But next week I do intend to go over the things not covered by the non-disclosure agreement from the Community Admin Summit next week.
Okay. I was trying to parse that sentence to understand what you would be talking about. I'm like, does that mean the NDA is ending and you can't? No, okay, I get it. Okay. Thank you, Joseph.
Just the things not covered by the NDA.
Right. Talk about everything except what the NDA says you can't talk about. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Joseph. And good night, everybody.
Good night.
# goodbye.
Goodbye.
I just want to point out that anyone listening to this enjoys the pleasure of editing to the point that silences longer than half a second are truncated, so they don't get the full experience of Tristan waiting 2 seconds to say # goodbye just to make Alex mad.
I wanted to make sure that Joseph was going to say something, or not.
Yeah, I know. I figured that's what you were waiting on. I was like, he's waiting on Joseph, which I would too. I was waiting on Joseph as well.
Yes, but I also wait because I know the moment I start talking, someone else is going to be talking because they didn't know I was going to.
Mm.
Then he'll just stare at me until I stop talking. Redacted. 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 Redacted.
Thanks to the following patrons for making this video possible. Support us at patreon.com/player4podcast.